All right, so get ready because today we are going deep on customer interviews with the mom test by
Oh,
Rob Fitzpatrick.
yeah, such a good one.
And this book is going to be your secret weapon to get honest feedback about your business idea.
It's like this.
Yeah.
You got to cut through the fluff.
Right.
So much of the time, especially when you're testing a business idea,
Yeah.
you just get these sugar-coated lies.
Ugh, it's the worst.
Even your own mom,
Oh, yeah.
bless her heart, might tell you that your app is totally amazing just to be supportive, right?
Of course. It's tough love.
Yeah, exactly.
The book starts with this really funny anecdote
Oh, yeah.
where the author actually pitches his idea to his mom. And
Uh,
she's like, oh, honey, that's brilliant. I'd totally use it.
Classic.
But, deep down,
He knows.
he knows it's just mom love talking.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you get past those polite smiles? How do you get to the raw, unfiltered truth?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's where the mom test comes in.
Exactly.
The mom test lays out these 3 core rules to help us avoid these traps, right?
Yeah.
Number 1, talk about their life,
Okay.
not your idea.
I like that.
Number 2, ask about specific things in the past,
Mm-hmm.
not generics or future opinions.
Okay.
And number 3, talk less, listen more.
It's like a mantra, right?
Yeah, it's like the customer interview mantra.
Absolutely.
Think about asking someone about their past experiences is way more revealing than asking what they might do in some, imaginary future.
Right, right.
This reminds me of a great example from Jake Haugen's YouTube breakdown of the book.
Yeah.
He was talking about, validating an idea for a photo app.
Uh-huh.
And he said instead of asking, would you use an app to learn how to pose for pictures?
Yeah.
Which, that's a typical question. He
Yeah.
said you could ask your mom, hey, Mom, when was the last time you updated your profile picture?
Oh, clever.
Who took it? Did you plan out the poses beforehand?
I like that.
And what's fascinating about that line of questioning is how much you learn without even mentioning your app idea.
Right.
You're subtly uncovering her existing workflow and motivations. And if she's like, oh, my friend just snapped a quick photo with my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it too much. Boom, you've learned something valuable about her needs or her lack thereof.
Exactly.
And you sidestepped a potential mom lie.
You did it.
You're like a customer intel ninja.
Yes.
Gathering information without tipping your hand.
No, that's right.
And here's a key insight from the mom test. By focusing on problems,
Okay.
past experiences,
Yeah.
and specific workflows,
Yeah.
you unveil these golden nuggets of customer insight.
Right.
You're not just collecting a laundry list of features.
Right.
You're understanding the why behind what people want.
Right.
That's what fuels better product development.
I agree.
This makes me think about something else Jake Haugen mentioned in his video.
About the importance of customer segmentation.
Yeah.
He was building a fitness app and realized that someone who's never stepped foot in a gym is going to have very different needs than a seasoned athlete.
Totally.
Asking someone who doesn't prioritize fitness about their biggest workout challenges is going to get you a made-up answer
Yeah.
because they haven't given it any real thought.
Of course.
You need to understand their broader priorities before digging into specifics.
Yeah.
So you're not just validating or invalidating your idea.
Right.
You're also figuring out who your ideal customer is and what they actually care about.
Absolutely.
Double duty with each conversation.
Love it.
The mom test also gives solid advice on how to snag those meetings in the first place.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It emphasizes the importance of asking for help, acknowledging your weaknesses,
Okay.
and framing the meeting around providing value to the other person.
Right.
It's about showing humility and a genuine desire to learn.
Not being arrogant.
Like, hey, I'm the best.
Exactly.
Nobody likes that.
I loved the example he gave in the book. He said, I'm trying to understand problem space.
Yeah.
And I know you've got tons of experience with their expertise.
Right.
Do you have time to chat about how you handle a specific aspect?
I like that.
Way more compelling than a generic,
Right.
can I pick your brain?
So overused. That one makes me cringe.
It shows you've done your homework and you respect their time.
Exactly.
It's not about tricking people into liking your idea.
No.
It's about genuinely understanding their world.
Yes.
And sometimes that genuine curiosity leads to, surprising discoveries.
Oh, absolutely.
Fitzpatrick shares this anecdote in the book
Okay.
where he casually asks an office manager, how do you handle specific task? And the guy points to some sticky notes on the wall.
Oh, wow.
And he says, oh, we just do it this way.
No,
It
really?
works pretty well.
Wow.
5-minute casual conversation. And boom, he learns that his entire product idea was based on a problem that didn't actually exist.
There you go.
It's a reminder that valuable insights can come from the most unexpected places.
That's a good point.
So how do you know if people are genuinely interested?
Yeah, that's tricky.
Once you do start sharing your idea, it's easy to get caught up in those "that's cool" responses.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you separate genuine enthusiasm from, like, polite nods?
Right, that's a hard one.
That's where the concept of commitment comes in.
Oh, interesting.
The mom test talks about getting people to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Okay.
It's about moving beyond vague expressions of interest and towards concrete actions that demonstrate their commitment.
Right, so like,
So instead of settling for a, yeah, cool idea, keep me posted,
yeah,
you should push for something more concrete.
okay,
Right.
I get it.
Fitzpatrick breaks down those commitments into what he calls the currencies of conversation:
Interesting, tell me more.
time, reputation risk, and cash. The more someone is willing to invest in your idea,
Yeah.
using one or more of these currencies,
Okay.
the more seriously you can take their validation.
Like that.
Okay, so a compliment is like monopoly money.
Mm-hmm.
It costs them nothing to say,
Yeah.
so it's worth nothing in terms of validation.
Right, right.
But agreeing to a follow-up meeting,
All right.
that's an investment of time,
Yeah.
and therefore a stronger signal.
Nice.
And if they're willing to publicly endorse your product
Okay.
or introduce you to their network,
Wow.
that's putting the reputation on the line,
Yeah.
which shows even greater commitment.
Right.
Of course, the ultimate currency is cash,
Okay.
pre-orders, investments,
Mm-hmm.
or becoming a paying customer.
Oh, interesting.
This currencies of conversation framework is brilliant.
I like it.
It's like a cheat sheet for evaluating how much people actually believe in your idea.
That's a good point.
It helps you avoid getting misled by those polite smiles, and that's interesting comments. Because actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, yeah.
And by pushing for those commitments,
Right.
you quickly separate those who are genuinely interested from those who are just being nice.
So we've talked about bad questions,
Yeah.
the 3 core rules of the mom test,
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of getting concrete commitments.
Right.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Mm.
You mentioned how those casual conversations can sometimes reveal that a problem doesn't even exist.
Right.
What happens then?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you go from there?
That's a great question.
I think that's when things get really interesting.
I agree.
Because the mom test is about more than just validating your initial idea.
Right.
It's about embracing those unexpected discoveries and being willing to pivot,
Yeah.
to adjust your course based on what you learned from those customer conversations.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's something to think about.
Yeah. I like it. So
Yeah.
you've had those really insightful conversations.
Yeah.
You've dodged the mom lies. And you've even managed to get a few people to, like, invest some of those precious currencies of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you know when you've talked to enough people? When can you confidently say, okay, we've learned enough,
Yeah.
it's time to build?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And the mom test offers some guidance on that.
Okay.
But, ultimately it's
Yeah.
a judgment call.
Oh.
It's this blend of, like, data and intuition.
So there's no magic number of conversations.
Not exactly.
Okay.
A good rule of thumb, though,
Okay.
is to keep talking to people until you stop hearing new information.
That makes sense.
Once those conversations start to feel, like, repetitive,
Yeah.
and you're no longer uncovering aha moments,
Uh-huh.
that's a sign you're reaching saturation.
But Fitzpatrick warns against, like, casting too wide a net in the beginning.
Oh, right.
He says if your sense of who you're serving is, like, fuzzy,
Yeah.
you'll end up talking to too many different types of people, which leads to, like, confusing signals and mixed feedback.
Yeah, it's like...
It's like trying to design a car.
Okay.
It appeals to everyone.
I like where this is going.
Grandmas, teenagers, race car drivers.
Yeah. Yeah, you get...
You end up with this Frankenstein's monster of a product that pleases no one.
And the mom test actually has this great example
Okay.
of a woman who created this healthy powdered condiment that could be used in, like, countless ways.
Oh, wow.
And so she thought her market was everyone.
Ambitious.
Yeah, bodybuilders,
Okay.
restaurants,
Uh-huh.
moms with picky eaters.
Yeah, so, like, literally everyone.
Yeah, by
In a
making
sense.
Yeah.
But by trying to appeal to everyone, she
Yeah.
ended up appealing to no one.
Classic mistake.
It is a classic example of the dangers of being too broad.
Right, right.
You get overwhelmed by options,
Yeah.
receive inconsistent feedback,
Yeah.
and just struggle to make sense of it all.
So how did she overcome this?
She got specific.
She realized her ideal customer was health-conscious moms with young kids
Okay.
who already shopped at health food stores.
Okay.
By focusing on that specific segment.
Yeah. Her product messaging and marketing efforts all had clarity and direction.
So like finding your tribe,
Yeah.
that group of people who are truly passionate about what you're doing
Absolutely.
and who you can serve most effectively.
That's the one.
And Fitzpatrick actually provides a framework for narrowing down your customer segment.
Okay.
He calls it customer slicing.
I like that.
It's a good visual.
It is, yeah.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so imagine you start with this broad category, like let's say students.
Okay, classic example.
Yeah, and you ask, within this group, which type of student would want this the most? What are their specific motivations and pain points?
Okay.
Where they hang out?
Yeah.
And you keep slicing off better and better subsets until you have this tangible sense of, like, who to talk to.
And where to find them.
So instead of targeting all students, which is, like, a ridiculously broad group,
Yes.
you could slice it down to, say, graduating students who are, like, terrified of job interviews.
Oh, there you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, super specific.
And suddenly you know their motivations.
Right.
Their pain points.
Yeah.
And even where to find them.
Yeah.
Career fairs, university career centers,
Okay.
online communities focused on job hunting.
Right.
And you can tailor your product and messaging to that specific group and avoid the confusing feedback that comes from talking to, like, everyone and their grandma.
So you're not just gathering information, you're also getting, like, laser focused on who you're building for.
Exactly.
It's like switching from a floodlight
I like that.
to a laser pointer.
I love it.
You know? And once you've had a handful of conversations with that specific group and you start hearing the same things over and over again,
Okay.
that's a good sign you're reaching saturation.
Yep.
The feedback loop is closing.
It is.
But you mentioned intuition also plays a role.
Right.
How do you factor that in?
It's about listening to your gut.
Okay.
If those conversations are getting you fired up, if you're feeling confident that you're on the right track,
Okay.
that's a powerful signal.
So it's like you're tapping into this collective energy and excitement from those, like, early adopters, those people who are, like, genuinely thrilled about what you're building.
Those are the people you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll stick with you through the ups and downs.
Yeah.
They'll spread the word,
Uh-huh.
and they'll help you build a community around your product or service.
Fitzpatrick really stresses the importance of recognizing and nurturing those relationships because these early adopters can make or break your success.
They can. Absolutely.
So the mom test is not just a, like, tactical guide to customer interviews.
Right.
It's also a, like, strategic guide to building a movement, a groundswell of support from those passionate early adopters.
Yes.
It's about tapping into that collective energy and excitement
I agree.
and channeling it into something truly remarkable.
And that brings us to another crucial point that the mom test makes.
Okay.
The importance of making customer learning a company-wide initiative.
So you're saying it shouldn't be siloed within
Exactly.
a single team or department.
Not at all.
So it's not just the, like, product managers or customer success team who need to be in tune with customer feedback.
No. Everyone in the company,
Wow.
from the CEO to the intern,
Okay.
can benefit from understanding the customer's perspective.
Interesting.
And Fitzpatrick argues that the best way to achieve this is to involve everyone in the customer learning process.
So, like, bring engineers to customer meetings. Let's encourage salespeople to share their insights and make customer feedback like a regular part of team discussions and decision-making.
It's about creating a culture of customer centricity.
Right, where everyone is focused on understanding and meeting the needs of the people you're serving.
Yes, exactly.
This makes me think about those companies we all admire.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that seem to just get it when it comes to their customers.
Yeah.
They're not just selling a product.
All right.
They're building relationships, creating communities, and making a genuine impact.
And The mom test provides a practical framework for making that shift.
Okay.
From a product-centric mindset to a customer-centric mindset.
Interesting.
It's about building a business that's not just successful, but also meaningful and fulfilling.
I like that.
Yeah.
But even with the best intentions, it's easy to get stuck in the an analysis paralysis trap.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like overthinking and overanalyzing to the point where you never actually take action.
Right.
That's why the mom test emphasizes the importance of taking action.
Absolutely.
Like, all the customer research in the world is worthless if you don't use it to make decisions and move forward.
You got to ship.
Right.
You can't just stay in research mode forever.
It's a reminder that entrepreneurship is about more than just having a great idea.
It is.
It's about having the courage to take that idea and run with it, to turn it into something real, something tangible, something that makes a difference.
And that's what makes the mom test such a valuable resource.
Right.
It gives you the tools and the confidence to have those crucial conversations, to uncover those hidden truths, and to build something truly remarkable.
So we've talked about how to identify your ideal customer, get meaningful feedback, and avoid getting stuck in analysis paralysis.
Right.
But one thing that trips me up in these early conversations is how to keep things casual without giving away too much about your idea too soon.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's like this delicate dance of being informative, but not revealing. Right.
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
And it's something Fitzpatrick addresses head on in the mom test.
Okay.
He talks about this idea of keeping it casual, where you aim to have those early customer conversations feel like, natural, organic interactions, not formal interviews.
So it's like you're having coffee with a friend.
Exactly.
Chatting about like a shared interest. Not grilling them with a list of pre-written questions.
It takes the pressure off both sides.
Right.
And Fitzpatrick suggests that in these early stages, you might not even need to schedule formal meetings.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you can glean these valuable insights from chance encounters at industry events, conferences, or even just striking up conversations with people in your network.
So it's about being open.
It is.
To those serendipitous interactions. And being ready to jump into a meaningful conversation when the opportunity arises.
Right.
Let's say you're building a tool for public speakers.
Okay.
And you overhear someone at a conference talking about their upcoming presentation. You could casually approach them and say, "Hey, I overheard you talking about your talk.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how did you end up getting that gig?
Okay.
What's the process like for landing speaking engagements?"
Much better than being like, "Hey, I'm starting a company. Can I pick your brain?"
Way more engaging.
Exactly.
So you're starting a genuine conversation, showing genuine interest, and subtly gathering valuable insights without even mentioning your idea.
That's the way to do it.
And that approach makes it easier to transition into those more targeted mom test questions once you've built some rapport.
Absolutely.
So once you've established that shared interest, it feels natural to start asking those questions that will help validate or invalidate your idea.
Exactly.
Sneaky and effective.
I like it.
Fitzpatrick also emphasizes keeping those early conversations fast and lightweight.
Okay.
No need for stuffy conference rooms.
Yeah.
A quick chat over coffee can yield a wealth of insights.
I agree.
He even suggests that when possible, it's better to avoid phone calls or video chats in favor of in-person interactions. Because he points out that so much of communication is nonverbal.
It is.
Absolutely. You pick up on those subtle cues. Facial expressions, body language that give you a deeper understanding of what people are really thinking and feeling.
There's something about being in the same room with someone.
I agree.
That creates a stronger connection. And builds trust more quickly.
I think it allows for those spontaneous tangents, those unexpected moments of insight that often emerge from casual, free-flowing conversations.
Remember the office manager with the sticky notes?
Oh, yeah.
Classic example.
The guy who, managed his entire workload without spreadsheets or fancy software. That casual chat completely, shattered the author's assumptions about the problem he was trying to solve.
Exactly.
It highlights the power of those informal interactions.
Yeah.
They allow you to see the world through the customer's eyes
Yeah.
without the filter of your own assumptions and biases. And those unfiltered insights are what fuel innovation.
They are, absolutely.
So the mom test is not just about asking the right questions. It's also about creating the right environment for those conversations to flourish.
Yep.
It's about keeping it casual, building rapport, and showing genuine interest in the people you're talking to.
Yes.
Because those authentic connections are what unlock those valuable insights and lead to the aha moments that drive your business forward.
I think the biggest takeaway from the mom test is that it's not a one-time thing. It's this ongoing process of learning, adapting, and refining your approach based on what you hear from your customers.
It's about embracing that feedback loop,
Yes.
using it to make better decisions, and ultimately building a product or service that truly meets the needs
Of the people you're serving.
And that's what makes the mom test such a valuable resource for entrepreneurs, innovators, and really anyone who wants to create something
meaningful and impactful.
It's not just a guide to customer interviews. It's like a roadmap to building a better business and a better world.
I love that.
So go forth, dear listener, armed with the wisdom of the mom test, and have those crucial conversations.
Do it.
You never know what brilliant insights you might uncover.
That's right.
That's it for our deep dive into the mom test.
Great episode.
We hope you found it insightful.
I did.
And as always, thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.